Welcome into Sport Talk with Dwat. This is episode number 30 for the show. We got race cars back on the track this weekend, Saturday and Sunday at Bowman Gray Stadium. I'm super excited. I can't wait. It's been a long, quiet off season. I like a few months off, and usually after about 2 months, I'm getting ready. But first, I want to ask y'all to like, share, and subscribe on the YouTube. Follow us on Spotify. And we're also on Facebook, X, Instagram, and TikTok. So take a moment and like, share, and subscribe if you would. All right, so this will be a preview show for Bowman Gray Stadium. It's going to be a 200 lap race, and I am really looking forward to it. Sunday night, 8:30 on Fox. Some news that has came out for news of the off season is the point system has changed. It is now the chase for the Cup, I guess you could call it. It is going to be a 16 drivers, 10 races. There's no more win that last race and you win the championship. There's no more of that. There's been some changes, and I'm for it. I like the changes. I will miss the win in your in. I was a fan of that. I feel like it really helped with the competition side of things to want to keep winning to get locked in. But I understand. You win week one, then the next 26 weeks, you could just take it easy. And I know that's not the mindset those drivers have, but that's definitely something that was wanting to be changed. And I definitely didn't agree with that final race where it all come down to who finished the best and got to win the championship. So that's as a fan, I'm okay with the change. I know some people might not like it. They made the announcement. They had Mark Martin, which I don't know why he was even there, with what he's had to say over the last year or so, and they had some current drivers there. And it seems like the drivers are really buying into it and liking it. It's what it sounds like to me. So that was some of the news. The chase is back. We'll see what these 16 drivers can do. Also in the off season was the lawsuit NASCAR versus Denny Hamlin, Michael Jordan, and all the other team that was in it. It was a lot went on with that, and I didn't get on here to talk about that really. It was just some of the news. They settled. It's over with, and I'm very glad. It was a mess. It went on for about 16 months, and it went to the court, and thankfully they settled, and the charter agreement is back out to be signed by the owners, and they'll get that signed, and we'll move on. And I'm really looking forward to this year. This is going to be like a preview of Bowman Gray Stadium / I'll give a championship thought, and it's going to be a cool show. Thanks for watching, and we are going to get into it. All right, the clash at Bowman Gray Stadium. Chase Elliott got the win last year. And Chase is gonna be one to watch again this year. I feel like he's got those tracks figured out. Bowman Gray's it's a very unique place. It is a football field. They got the track around the outside of the football field. They play football there in the fall, and they run the modifieds and other divisions throughout the year, throughout the summer, and then it shuts down for football in the fall. So it's got a lot of history to it there in that part of North Carolina. And this time of year, it's a little bit tricky to have an event with the weather and whatnot, which it's chilly, cold, and snowy here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So you just don't know what you're going to get. But my understanding was this is going to clear out, and hopefully next week we will be in the clear, and the sun will be out, and there will be cars on the track next year, this weekend. So looking forward to this new season and really getting underway with it. Qualifying in practice will be Saturday at 6:10 Eastern time. So that'll take place Saturday. And then they will have heat races Saturday night. They have 4 heat races. The top 5 advanced. That will be on FS1 for all those that want to check that out. I will be watching that for sure. It's definitely that first race of the year. It always gets me pretty excited and ready to get back into it after a few months away. Sunday, 8 o'clock is the 200 lap feature, the Clash at Bowman Gray Stadium. It's always a really cool event. Um, I'll definitely be tuned in. I would highly recommend watching it. Looking forward to giving some kind of recap on a show coming up. So as the ones that each week watch this show, I've got the Sport Talk with Dwat. It is a show that we go over all the different sports, like college football, college baseball, college basketball, MLB, all that good stuff. So I might throw in a NASCAR show, maybe a Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that. Do a little recap, do a little preview, something like that. We'll figure it out. We'll go on toss it in there. And if you're a fan of other sports and you're watching this, and you know, thanks for tuning in. And I will hopefully be able to explain this NASCAR to you. I watch each weekend. I watch these races 36 plus weeks of the year. I'll find a way to get in there and watch it. And I'm just a fan. I'm not a reporter. I go to, go to them when I can. I don't always go to these races, but I watch each week, and I'll get to give my thoughts and my opinions. But the Clash, it's a small track, but really they can get some good speed built up, and it can be a really good race. You'll see the best of the best out there. This is a race that really leans towards the veterans. I feel like. And if it's not a veteran, then you'll see a younger driver, maybe like a Chase or a Briscoe or those kind of guys step up. It's definitely a race that you will see a little bit of contact. You'll see the tensions build, and two guys that maybe aren't getting along over some space, and those guys will try to hash it out. And we saw it last year. We'll probably see it again this year, and that's just how it goes. And it makes for good TV views and whatnot, and it gives us something to talk about. So it's definitely going to be a good one. 200 lap race. I like that length. I am a fan of the 200 laps. I think it's a pretty fair amount. I'll be getting tuned in for sure on that. And some names to watch would be Bell, Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano. Those are going to be some top names that you're going to see out there. Then you got Denny Hamlin, who had quite the off season. We'll kind of get into that here in a little bit, but you got those guys that are going to be showing up ready to go. And Ryan Blaney, he is the man. I think I'm a big fan of Blaney, and he might be my pick. And I'll throw some picks out here in just a little bit, but it's going to be a cool race to watch. Even if you're not even a big race fan, I'd say check it out. Watch it, Fox. Check it out Sunday night, and then Saturday, if you want to get your little warm up in, you can watch the heat races, and those are always going to be exciting. Those are going to be, top five go to the big show, and it's going to be scrappy, and there's going to be guys making moves to get those top fives. So it's going to be a cool race. Definitely one to watch, and it doesn't count for nothing. It's all for fun. It's just an exhibition. I like exhibitions. I know some people might think NASCAR should cut those weeks out and just focus on points races. Maybe just have one exhibition. All-star race. Have one all-star race, and that's it. Don't have these other ones that don't count for nothing. But it's a good way to start the season, and the fan base is here in the East Coast, North Carolina, Tennessee, South Carolina. That's where all the fans are. So have it over there in North Carolina. Have it where the fans are. Last year it was out west in LA. So, it was out west in the past. So, which last year was here at Bowman Gray. Then 2 years ago was out at the Coliseum out in LA. So, they've been trying different things for the Clash. They've had the road course at Daytona. They've had it out west. They've had it in different ways here and there. But I like where it is. I say keep the date. I like how there's a week off, and then you go to the 500. So it's a good chance for these drivers and the fans to get into this event and I would watch the Fords this weekend and the Toyotas. I think those would be the two to watch, and Gibbs and Penske would be those two teams to keep a close eye on. Um, but I would go ahead and give my winner. I will say Ryan Blaney is going to drive himself into victory lane Sunday night. He's going to stay up front. He's going to qualify in the top five. He's going to run up front. He's going to stay out of trouble. And he's going to get it done. He's going to win that race. He's going to take home the money. And then we're going to go head down to Warren, Florida for the 500. And, Blaney's going to have a good run down there, I'm hoping. And I'm hoping for a good start to the year. I've seen in the past where he doesn't have the best of start. So it all starts at Bowman Gray. Then we're going to go from there. So that's my winner. Give me the 12. Menards. Ryan Blaney, big fan. I got my shirt on. And it's going to be cool to see. Cool to see him get the win Sunday night. All right, we will jump on into the 2026 predictions. I've got some pretty good predictions lined up here. And it's going to start with the chase for the Cup. I got the 16 drivers going for the Cup. I think it's going to come down to Homestead Miami Speedway. I think it's going to come down to 2 or 3 drivers. I think it's going to be 2. I think it's going to be a 2-driver shootout. Is who can be more consistent throughout the year, throughout the chase. And I really feel like, Blaney's going to be tough. And then you got all these different drivers. I'd watch a Joey Logano. I think Joey's going to be one to watch this year. And you got Chase Briscoe. I think those 3 guys will be one to watch. I know Briscoe was in the Final Four this past year. Kind of got hot there at the end, which I don't think that plan of attack might not work as well this year in this point system as it did in the past. But the other one to watch will be Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson's he knows how to get it done when at that time, and when the time's right. And I like Kyle Larson. He ran dirt, a late models. And then he still runs his sprint car. So I got to meet him twice over at Smoky Mountain Speedway, and I met him at Bulls Gap at Volunteer Speedway. So I got my picture with him twice. So that was really cool to see. Got an autograph and all that good stuff. So just as a fan, you gotta like the guys that are gonna run dirt and they're gonna run asphalt. So it's cool to see Larson kind of run both. So I like that just as a fan. But I say it's going to come down to Blaney, and I want to say Blaney and Chase Briscoe there at the end, and I want to say Blaney's going to edge him out, and Blaney will be your 2026 NASCAR Cup Series champion. I'm going to come back to this video later on and see if what I'm saying is correct or not, and it may be wrong. But if it's not those two, then you got to keep a close eye on Kyle Larson and Joey Logano. I think those would be the 2 to keep a close eye on. But I definitely feeling good about Blaney, and we're looking forward to this year, seeing what he can do. He got married, and then he's got a child now, so a lot's changing for Ryan Blaney, and he's got a really good mustache he's growing out, and he's got his long hair back. So that's kind of cool to see as a fan, something different. All these guys got to have their own personality, and that's going to be his. Let's talk about Kyle Busch a little bit. Let's talk about the old man Kyle Busch. He's a veteran. He's been around the sport a long time. He knows how to win. He's just getting to that age where you don't know if he's going to win again. He's got a lot of wins. He's got 60 plus NASCAR Cup Series wins. I saw him win back in 07 at Bristol. Dad and I went to that race, and I got to see him win. That was his first career win, I believe, as well. So that was pretty cool to see on that. Just last year he didn't win any races, and he does not have a good year there at RCR. And they got rid of the crew chief. They made a couple of changes, and at some point you just got to decide: is it the driver, or is it the team, is it the crew? So I feel like they've found their problems, and they got a new team coming in for them. They got got a new crew chief and other personnel at RCR. Him and Austin Dillon Really didn't have a great year last year, which I know Austin got the win at Richmond. Got that win and made it look easy. He led a bunch of laps there at Richmond, but then he almost won it 2 years ago. But that's a whole different podcast for another day. But Kyle Busch, my hot take on Kyle Busch is he will win 2 races in 2026. That's my take. I think he's going to win within the first 8 races, and then he'll have a slow 4 to 6 weeks. And I think come June, July, probably July, I say he's going to win again, and he'll get 2 wins for the year. And a lot of fans either love Kyle Busch or you hate Kyle Busch. There's no in between there with him. So I used to not really care for him, but I feel like he's finally coming around on me a little bit. He's up there with Chevy now. That's better than Toyota, and he's getting up in age. But I feel like now he's got a son come along there with a Brexton. So and he's starting to get older, and he's starting to get in. Each year his cars are getting a little bit bigger and faster, so he's starting to make the ranks up, and we'll kind of see what the future holds for Kyle Busch once his son starts getting to a truck one day, and we'll kind of see what's going on with Kyle Busch on his side of things. Denny Hamlin. Let's go over the veteran Denny Hamlin. For those that watch NASCAR and keep up with it, last year he had the championship won, and then the closing laps, Byron hits the wall, caution comes out. Denny Hamlin just let that slip away, and how he compared it was pretty accurate there on his podcast. It's like having a big lead in basketball or football, and then it all that big lead going away, and then you get beat. And that definitely was a tough way for him to end the season. I'm not a Denny Hamlin fan by no means, but he's a veteran. You got to respect him, and he had a good year, had a great year. Yeah, there's points in the season that were down and weren't all that impressive, but he was consistent, and he's a competitor, and he can put that helmet on and go when it's time to go, and just you can't control cautions, you can't control some stuff, and he got beat, and Kyle Larson took home the championship last year. So that's how that went there at the end of the year at Phoenix, and so this year they've changed where they're going to end the season. That's back at Homestead. I like that. I'm a fan of that change. But Denny Hamlin, he had quite the off season with the lawsuit and getting settled with all that went on in the court there for those weeks, and then his dad passed away, Dennis Hamlin, in a fire, so that was really tragic for him. So he's still getting through that. It sounds like he should be good to go there at Bowman Gray and when the season begins. So that's one of those deals. It's not what you want to hear. It's not the news you want to get. And then some other kind of sad news there in NASCAR is Greg Biffle passed away in a plane accident. Him and his wife and his 2 kids passed away going to see Cletus right before Christmas. So that's not the news you want to see at all. So that was some of the sad news there in the off season. But Denny Hamlin, I think back to Denny. I think Denny is going to win 2 races this year. 2020, he's going to win 2 races this year, this coming season, and I feel like he's going to be around. I feel like he may have a couple of good races, and he may go through a bad stretch, but he's confident in himself. And he know he can that he can do it, and he's going to do it. And it's just we'll have to see how that goes with him. But I say 2 races, he'll be competitive, but he may have some streaks in him that don't always go the best. But that's about how I think that's going to go for Denny Hamlin. This year for racing, I think it's going to be aggressive. I think this new point system's really going to amp things up a little bit, and you just got to be consistent. And if you get wrecked, then it's not going to end well, and it's going to hurt your points. And that's what Kyle Busch said. I saw a clip where he said, if you get wrecked, it could really mess you up for the season if it happens at a bad time. So in this sport, I really like rivals. I like if we can see 2 drivers not get along and not get along for weeks in a row. That'd be okay with me. Um, that's what you want to see as a fan on the TV. You want to turn it on and hear a couple drivers not happy with each other, and that's what I want to see as a fan. It kind of gives me something to talk about, give me something to watch. And nowadays some of these drivers are can be a little soft and whatnot, and try to change in certain ways, but I like it when they don't change. And that's just kind of how they are. Um, but that's something I heard from Kyle Busch. There was it could be an aggressive season, and it's not going to change any mindset on anybody on how they race one another. And it's going to be super aggressive. And even though it's not winning you're in, I still feel like people are going to want, get as many wins as they can. So, these drivers are going to be wanting to win just as bad as ever. And you got some young guys that are wanting to get their first Cup Series win. So you got Zilich and some others that are coming up that are going to be hungry. And you got these guys that are really good, good on the ovals, and you got guys that are good on road courses, and some of these smaller teams. So this going to be an interesting year. I still think, kind of like what Chase Elliott said. The talent's always going to be there, and the talent's going to get to the front. So I think this year is going to be a good example of that. If the talent's going to rise, and at the end of each race, the top guys are going to be there, and that's just the sport. That's just how it's going to go. And I think that's very true. And I thought that was it was a good thing that he said was, at the end of the races, the guys that are going to be at the front are going to be at the front. And that's just kind of the way it is. So with that being said, that's that. And then, so after Bowman Gray, then they're going to head to Daytona. And, that's where it's all going to kick off at. So that's going to be one to watch. And then so we got Daytona, and you'll kind of see the guys from Hendrick qualify well, and that's pretty common that those guys up front qualify well, and the Chevys are always ones to watch there for sure. Then we got qualifying, then you got the duels, then you got the trucks, O'Reilly's series. That was that's what it's called now, is the O'Reilly's series, and then you got the NASCAR Cup series on that Sunday. So there's a lot lined up. That's probably one of my favorite weeks or weekends of the year. It's just see all that racing each night in a row. So I get to come home from work and turn my TV on and watch racing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that's always a really cool stretch for me. But yeah, that's pretty much sums up what we're gonna see at Bowman Gray, and then on the season. It's a lot to unfold, and a lot can change between here and there. But I just be curious, if we're gonna see the veterans kind of step up and perform, or we're gonna see some of the younger drivers step up. And I always like to see all the different paint schemes that's gonna be out and about this year, and see what sponsors are back. And looking forward to getting to some races. I don't have any tickets purchased as of now, but I'm working on a list, and gonna kind of see what's out there, and kind of check on some start times and dates, and see what makes sense. I won't be going to Bristol, I know that for sure. So there's a couple I know I'm not going to be going to there in the spring, but we'll see how it all works out there for the summer and fall, and some tracks I like to go to the new one, at least once a year. Go to one new one a year. So that's kind of what I'm always chasing after, is go to one new one a year of any kind. So that's kind of what I'm working on there. And yeah, so that's that. So don't forget 8:30 Sunday night. We got cars back on the track, Bowman Gray Stadium. It's gonna be electric. It's gonna be good. So be sure to tune in and check it out. But like I said, we'll try to have some different type of shows. Their recaps. I'll have my sport talk on Sundays, and then I might have a little NASCAR talk / dirt talk on Monday to Tuesday. We'll see. We'll kind of see how all that shakes out. But remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel here on YouTube. You can follow us on Spotify, um, Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok. If you got any fan mail, you can put it in the comments below on the YouTube and or the Spotify, whichever you choose to listen or watch our programs on. But with that being said, it was a pretty quick preview of Bowman Gray and the 2026 NASCAR season. With that being said, I'll see you in the next one.